Older clients like for us to take them out to lunch, but the younger clients simply don't care about being taken out for lunch or given, quote, professional time, professional service. They just want to see the portfolio value. The concept we are going to disrupt all of traditional finance is no longer a reasonable expectation for fintech, because traditional finance is disrupting itself and changing.
Hello, Richard. So, thank you for joining us today about our wealth management speeches and blog post series, hopefully. So, from the beginning, Richard Turrin is the international best-selling author of Cashless, China's Digital Currency Revolution, and Innovation Lab Excellence. And he is Analytica's #4 rated global fintech influencer and award-winning executive, previously heading fintech teams at IBM, following a 20-year career in investment banking, and living in Shanghai for the last decade, which experienced China going cashless firsthand. So can you explain a little bit more about yourself? Do you want to add anything else?
Sure, Darren. Hello, everybody out there in podcast or video land. It's nice to meet you. Darren, thank you so much for having me on. And we're going to have some fun today. I don't have a lot more to say. Listen, I wrote 2 books. I write regularly on LinkedIn and on Twitter, but mostly on LinkedIn. So if while I'm talking you disagree with anything, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn and say, look, I disagree, and here's the reason why. Or if you agree, that's fine too. So go ahead, shoot, hit me with some questions, and we'll dive right in.
Okay, amazing. So obviously, I'm going to start with digital currencies because of your experience. So in the light of growing interest in digital currencies globally and your experience, so how do you foresee these currencies impacting traditional wealth management practices and investment strategies?
Okay, so let's take 2 different kinds of digital currencies, okay? Because this is going to be an important divide. The first one is cryptocurrency. That means Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all of the other thousands of coins, some of which are good, some of which are bad, okay? And the second type of digital currency we're going to talk about is called central bank digital currency, and that's what I wrote my book about. I wrote my book about China's CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency, CBDC, okay? So, number 1, asset management and crypto. Clearly, this was a big week. We had the US SEC approve Bitcoin ETFs for the United States. So, look, that's big. So, the reality is crypto is now just another asset. Like gold or commodity, like gold, stocks, whatever. It's something that you buy and sell. Whether you like it or not is up to you. Some people hate it, some people like it. It is clearly volatile. If you're what we call in the business a widow or orphan, something that goes up and down 20% a day is maybe not the right thing for you. If you're somebody who wants safety and security. Okay, so that's one side of the business, cut, dry, done. Crypto is real. It's not going anywhere. Okay, now the next side of the business is central bank digital currency. And you say, well, people don't invest in central bank digital currency as a means of making money. It's the same as whatever currency you have in your hand now. So if you have paper Turkish lira, if you have paper US dollars, if you have paper digital RMB, that's what the digital version is. It's not designed to go up and down, so it's not designed to be an asset. It's designed to be a store of value where you put your money and where you buy coffee and other things with. Okay, so now that's a long way of saying this. Asset management is going to love central bank digital currency because what it will allow is for people to purchase assets using central bank digital currency, which will have very low or zero, almost zero cost of transfer from one to another. So right now we live in a world where we do things online. We buy stocks online. We can do all of these online services. And the way most of us get money online is, okay, we can transfer it from one bank account for another and wait for the bank. In certain cases, we can also use credit cards. But now we're going to have a free and immediate way to transfer money, which is really big for asset management because it means you can initiate with a client online, completely digitally, and say, pay me. And the guy or the girl or whoever, clicks the button and makes the payment, and that payment does not cost 3% like a credit card does. It doesn't have a high cost attached to it. So those are the two big areas in digital currencies: crypto, of course, and central bank digital currency.
Okay, so yeah, traditional wealth management is really changing from the cash to the currencies, the cryptos and digital bank currencies. Okay, so yeah, like you said, we did all our things online and we have AI in our lives. It's inevitable and we need to be make our lives together to be better, to get better. So I want to talk about more about AI and obviously AI in wealth management. So yeah, there are some differences currently in traditional wealth management to change life, and impact on AI is obviously in the wealth management too. So as an expert in AI and fintech, I want to ask you how do you see artificial intelligence reshaping wealth management strategies in the near future or in the long term?
Yes, and I think I'm going to pick the in-between,
Okay.
the medium term, okay? And now here's why. Let me explain. I love AI. I used to sell AI for a living when AI was much dumber than it is today. I worked with IBM and I used to sell IBM's Watson. Maybe people have heard of, out there of IBM Watson because they spent billions of dollars advertising it. So the point is this: we are in a new era of AI and generative AI where it's very smart. That's good. Nothing wrong with that. And it is disruptive for our futures. And that's also good. It can do a lot of good for humanity. Now, that said, this revolution is not going to come as quickly as people think. So there are people already, commentators in famous newspapers saying, we have Gen AI. Where's the money? Where is it making money? And you can't take this technology and roll it out within less than a year and expect to be making money on it. Okay, so that's the number one thing for asset managers out there. Now, so let's look at 2 years from now. Let's come back in 2 years and what are we going to have? And so that's the midterm, what I'd call it. In the midterm, we're going to have AI helping in the asset management business. Number one, it will help with the portfolio. It'll help with the managers who are out there on the sell side trying to sell asset management services. Obviously, it'll help them know their client better, understand their portfolio better, and the AI will help you even pick or suggest stocks or assets for your clients to pick up. That's number one. Number two, the other side of the equation. So when I, as a customer of an asset management company, log on to my account and I want to see what's going on, right? Now I have to, now it's very typical. You log on and you have graphs, 3 or 4 graphs open up showing you your world. And that's great. Nothing wrong with that. It isn't going away. We are always going to need graphs. Graphs are good. But now I'll be able to ask my AI portfolio manager, which stocks did the best, which part of my portfolio didn't perform, which part of my portfolio, is danger, is good, bad, went up, went down, volatile, not volatile. But you can ask the AI to help you understand what assets you have and how they are valued and whether they're appropriate for you. And that's really what this is all about. helping both those on the sell side of asset management and helping those clients on the client side both have better information to make better decisions for themselves. And that's fundamentally a good thing. And we're only a couple of years away from this. But in fact, some of the sales side stuff is already being rolled out in the very big American asset managers like Morgan Stanley. So they're starting to roll this out now, but it's going to take another year for it to start filtering down to the mid-tier asset managers.
Okay. So, is it true when I say that AI is helping us to understand the answer of the question of why? So, why is my stock is dropping, or why there is a gap between my wealth into this kind of thing? Is it fair to say that?
How about this? Why is a yes? So the answer of why, yes. So the
Yep.
answer is you can ask your AI or your
Yep.
portfolio manager, why did my portfolio go down? And the answer is the portfolio manager may give you a generic answer, and the AI may also give you a generic answer that is not to your liking. So, that AI will be able to answer why is true. Whether you like that answer or whether you feel that answer has greater insight is the problem. So, and then that's look, the Bank for International Settlement, right, just launched a paper, and I wrote about this on LinkedIn, and it's also in my newsletter. Yes, folks, I have a newsletter, Rich Turrin on Substack. But anyway, look, the BIS paper asked generative AI to solve a puzzle. A word puzzle, one of those puzzles. My birthday is on January. My friend's birthday is 2 months later. My other friend's birthday is 3 months earlier. When is my birthday? That kind of thing. So the Gen AI got the answer right immediately. But what was funny is that as soon as they changed the months, right? So they kept the puzzle the same, but they moved all the months ahead or behind by 2 months or whatever. And Gen AI couldn't figure it out. So the point is this, Gen AI is very good at regurgitating information back to you. In other words, you give it clear specifications. Here's the FAQ, frequently asked questions from my brokerage service. Fine, you give it that information, it's great. But if you're asking Gen AI to analyze and understand why your portfolio went down, right now it's going to have it has very little ability to do that. The only thing it can do is mirror an analyst report that may have been fed into the system that said, well, this is why this month was bad. So its analytic ability, its ability to think and reason is limited. Its ability to repeat is very good and solve basic things. Show me the volatility of IBM stock for the last 3 month period. Boom, it'll give you a number. That it's good at.
Yeah, it gives you the direct answer. Yeah, it's a great summary for that. Thank you. So when I talking about the wealth, the company that I'm working on currently, we're creating a wealth management app. And like you say, we have a feature as a portfolio X-ray. So this X-ray is, of course, based on AI, and it's give you the insights of your portfolio. So it will give you which stock really did you go mostly, or which stock you need to go, kind of thing. But yeah, in summary, it all comes to same thing. It give you the direct answer, not making the connection. Yeah. And for the last thing about AI, I want to ask you, because many people are thinking that AI taking our jobs and it's replacement for the human being. So when do you think that AI could replace the wealth managers, or is it even possible, or is it impossible?
Yes, it's possible. So first of all, let me say I love the concept that you're working on. AI-assisted portfolio management. I think that's a wonderful area to work in. And I think that AI, now listen, this is machine learning AI, a different version, not generative AI.
Yes.
Machine learning AI and predictive artificial intelligence has a lot of value to bring in portfolio management. And I really didn't address that in the earlier question. I said there were two, buy side and sell side of AI, but there's also the manager side. And I think that's great. And I think that's important that you mentioned that. And I think it's great that your company is working in that area. So 2 days ago, along with the Davos WEF meeting that's going on right now, the IMF, right, International Monetary Fund, launched a paper about the impact of artificial intelligence, and the numbers were shocking. In the entire world, 40% of jobs will be impacted by artificial intelligence. And for the developed world, where more people are knowledge workers, 60% of jobs will actually be impacted. So let me answer your question. Do I think that a portfolio manager can be replaced? And the answer is, oh, you bet. In fact, one of the problems that we have in the industry overall, I was a registered rep or security salesman licensed for many, many years in the United States. One of the problems we have is that the asset managers don't always look after their clients. They look at what's in their best interest. So it is absolutely possible to think that for a basic portfolio, you could replace a portfolio manager with a machine. Now, here's the interesting part. Ready? Wait for it. In that people will trust the machine more than they will the person. Now, that is not to say that, let's say, Darren, you're my portfolio manager for 10 years and I trust you and we have a great relation. I'm not going to obviously trust the machine more than you. Many portfolio managers do great work, but as we see with robotic advising, which is algorithm driven portfolio management for simple portfolios, we now can take a next step and go to more complex portfolios and work with people with via a machine, via the AI. And I think particularly with younger people who do not have a historic relationship with an asset manager, many will trust the machine before they'll trust the person. And I can't blame them, because anybody who's in asset management knows, how every week we get some new, if you read the newspaper in Europe or whatever country you're from, every couple of weeks there's some asset manager who's busted for stealing money. And I'm sorry if that hurts people's feelings, but it's true.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and Gen Z is coming and they are growing up with the computers and with the AI itself. So they are more interacting with the AI more than people.
I have a funny story that's relevant for you because a few years back, I was working in Singapore, and one of my clients was an asset manager, and I was talking to a couple of the people, and they said our older clients like for us to take them out to lunch, but the younger clients simply don't care about being taken out for lunch or given, quote, professional time, professional service. They just want to see the portfolio value and see what's going on. And, it's interesting because, so you go from the older generation wants lunch. The next younger generation wants to see the statement. The next generation after that basically doesn't give a damn about the company or anything else. They log on, they look at the portfolio, and now here's the thing. Money will be easier to move as we move forward, whether it's stable coins, central bank digital currency, whatever means you want to look at, it'll be easier to move money from one brokerage house to the other. So what you're going to see is that many young people they're going to look, they're not going to like the results, and they're going to say, I'm getting my damn money out of here, I'm moving it. And they can move it relatively quickly and cheaply, meaning the relationship is going to fundamentally change between the client and the asset management house. And that's the future. And it's not all bright for asset managers, but it's the truth.
Yeah, I want to talk about also the future of wealth management, but yeah, this is the future of wealth management with the new people from Gen Z, and they're mostly interested in the outcomes than the human connection because they grew up like that. They grew up with the computers, with the AI. It's a normal thing. Yeah.
That's exactly the issue. In fact, it's very interesting. You can look at a lot of the surveys and you'll see that, look, I'm a boomer. I'm elderly now, right? I'm 62. My generation prefers a lot of human contact and they don't like the machine contact in banking and in financial services overall. And then the younger generation is like, fine, we're good with it. And it's really interesting because, look, my primary area of research is central bank digital currency. What's very interesting is that when we look at what people think of CBDC by age group, it's the boomers who don't like it and are very concerned all the way into the 40s. But then when you get into the young people, the teens, the 20s, even in the early 30s, people are like, digital money, we love it, we need it, we want it. We do so much online and we want a better way to pay. So it's very interesting. There's this, in asset management and in financial services overall, there's this trust divide between young and old.
Yes, definitely. And I know from my parents that they prefer something they can touch, not the digital ones.
Absolutely. And that's, and that's a real, that's a real issue for an elderly generation who are not digital, who want cash, who don't want plastic credit cards, and certainly don't use digital wallets on their phone. So, that's a reality as we make this transition, and asset managers make this transition, that the important thing is we don't leave people behind. We can't leave elderly behind, and we can't leave those who are not digitally sophisticated behind. We have to have services for everyone. And in some ways, AI can help with that. AI can be an advisor that's there if they've got a cell phone, so there's a lot of ways that this can work, and be very positive for inclusion and for asset management overall.
Yes, definitely. So I see that we have a limited time, so I want to also address one more topic. So I want to go to the consulting side for the startup. For our site and for everyone out there who's listening that owns a startup or works in a startup, especially in fintech and wealth management. So what key advice would you give to the fintech startups aiming to disrupt the traditional wealth management?
Don't work. So look, I mean, this is a horrible message, and I apologize in advance. Number one, look, 2022 and 2023 were really tough on fintechs. You know it, you're in the business, okay? So I'm not saying something that's controversial, it's just stating the facts. So the concept we are going to disrupt all of traditional finance is no longer a reasonable expectation for fintech, because traditional finance is disrupting itself and changing now, not as fast as fintechs can change, but changing fast enough so that they're not completely backwards, okay? So fintechs working in the space, number one, conserve funds. Because if you're running out of money, you can't help anybody or do anything. Number two, selling your services with it to established financial service companies, incumbents, we call them, those who are already in existence. Selling them technology is a great way to stay alive. You can sell you can structure it so you can sell your technology multiple times. They're not exclusive to this. You can then resell it or be a competitor to them in their own markets. But the point is, you need to do everything you can to stay alive and keep the money coming in. So I'm actually rather opposed to the message. Okay, I've lived through this, 2015, 16, right? We're going to make fintech. Fintech is going to disrupt the banks, take down financial incumbents. We're already in 2023. Even the biggest of the successful fintech neobanks haven't caused the collapse of any incumbent large institution, banking institution. So the concept that you're going to disrupt, take down, cause to fail, or otherwise push off balance these very successful, large, well-capitalized institutions that can go for many years without making money is not reasonable. That you can be a better service provider to them than they've got internally is true. That you can then take your technology and go out into the open market and give them a real shock by doing something wonderful and good and valuable and get clients. Sure, all of those are reasonable expectations. Making money is still important, and a reasonable expectation that you're going to grow large by getting lots of clients is no longer a reasonable expectation. But you can do a lot of really important and good work, but still not meet the qualification of, hi, we're going to disrupt all the incumbents.
Yeah, so you need to make a difference to be in the sector. So yeah, it's more related for the old startups, for all the people who want to change something in the world or be a part of the big companies.
Yeah, look, there's nothing wrong with wanting to change the world, and you can be very successful at changing the world, but still not have this mindset that says, we're going to disrupt the big banks. We're going to disrupt, the BlackRocks, the large asset managers of the world. No, you're not, So that's a sad reality that happened between, when fintech started 2015, 16, it started with this mantra of, we're going to take down the banks. We're going to change the big incumbents. And frankly, it hasn't happened. And I'm sorry, but that's the truth. That doesn't mean you can't be successful. Fintechs are successful. They are tremendous at bringing new technology out. And they push the incumbent institutions to do more and give better services for everyone, which is fundamentally good.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's a great insight. Yeah, definitely. It's more like 60s and 70s disruption and rule the world kind of thing. Yeah. So thank you for all your answers. So I have all the questions answered. And for the last thing, do you want to add anything to convert to? Yeah.
Just only to say this, I know that I am energetic and on occasion controversial. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, if you think this guy is nuts, I want to talk, and I want to tell him he's nuts, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is always the best place to communicate with me. I write daily there, and I'm a big influencer on the fintech community on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, you can reach me. Twitter, you can, put a note on some of my tweets there. My website is Rich Turrin, RichTurrin.com. You can reach out to me through there. And of course, if you like my message and you want to subscribe, my newsletter is on Substack, where so many newsletters are. I write every week about just this sort of thing. So lots of ways to reach me. Feel free to tell me I'm right, I'm wrong, and I look forward to hearing from you all. And Darren, thank you for such great questions. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you so much too. I am also going to add your links down below in the, of course, the captions. And yeah, thank you so much again for answering all of the questions. It was great.